Hello, my name is Desiree Mack, and today I will be doing a critique on Naomi Stinson Mick as well as Stephanie Rettenor. Naomi had students predict what would happen in the story based solely on the cover of the book. This strategy was the skim and scan strategy to predict text structure. She also had students complete a making predictions worksheet, which allowed them to organize their thoughts, recognize when or if their predictions came true, because the student was able to look at their paper as a reference guide. As Naomi read aloud, she asked questions to make certain the text was understood, which can also be considered interactive talk, which was a job well done. She had the student draw a picture summarizing the story to measure the student's understanding of the literature. Now, this was one of the key points that I enjoyed because with younger students, it's hard to truly understand whether they get it if you just, really put a test in front of them. I think the best way for us as educators of the younger students um, to assess their knowledge or their interpretation of the information is by having them draw pictures or something that involves less, just pen and paper work, but more of something they can enjoy. Uh, she practiced interactive talk with students when reading the book and asking questions throughout. Also, she can also um, can be identified as the model think aloud strategy, where the instructor reads aloud and pauses at certain points to explore the understanding of text. She used relatable experiences to grab the students' attention, tying in new materials that were introduced. So, in the beginning, she asked the students, have you ever made a snowman? Okay, well, when you go outside and it's cold, what do you put on? You put on a hat, you put on gloves, and then she tied it into the story like, okay, well, that's what the character in the story is doing. I felt like this was age and reading level appropriate, although we didn't know what the age of the student was or his grade level. I could kind of hear in his voice that his or her voice that, it was maybe kindergarten, but they were asked to write complete sentences, so I'm going to say at least first grade. She gave the opportunity to read and write during the lesson. So at the beginning of the lesson, she asked students to write down their predictions of what would happen in the story just by looking at the cover. And at the end, she also had students record what happened in the story. She used phonological awareness, which by introducing syllables toward the end of the lesson, and I felt like that was a good segue. The book and then the introduction of syllables was a good segue into a literacy lesson. She also used phonemic awareness, beginning letters. It supported the students' understanding of the words. She considered isolated sounds um, as well because you could break down the sounds in the words. So when she did snow, she said, "Well, what is S? What does snow start with?" And she made the S snow, and I think the student was able to understand and comprehend that. For both professional development on the school and classroom level, I believe Naomi would benefit from interactive learning environments where multiple strategies and ideas are blended into the learning concepts and applying the tools to her curriculum. I felt there should have also been a multisensory activity. I think with younger students or just students in general, they kind of get bored after a while, and having them do different things would help with keeping them interested and intrigued and want to learn. In the category of pre-planned lessons, I would give Naomi a grade of a basic. Uh, I don't feel that she provided enough clear evidence of what the lesson plan was. I know that she read about snow, and I know she introduced syllables and blending sounds, but I don't really know what was the goal she was trying to obtain by that lesson. Stephanie Rettenor, she did the Llama Llama Red Pajama lesson, and I really enjoyed watching that. Um, Prior to reading, she had a process. She had on a paper, poster board with steps and had a target, and she let the students know what the target of the lesson would be and the steps that they would take to get to that. So I really enjoyed that. She used hand gestures to contribute to understanding. So if she was talking about sad, she did sad. She did crying, scared. It helped the students, I believe, to understand the lesson, even if they couldn't read. The song seemed to have sparked the interest of the students and got them excited about learning and rhyming words. Um, this was also creating non-linguistic representations. Uh, what I enjoyed about the song was it was simple yet memorable, because after the lesson and she let the students know they were going to be playing word bingo, one of the students started singing the song that they learned at the beginning, the rhyming word song, and I think that was the student was able to make the connection with the song and what their next activity would be. She gave a simpler meaning to words that the students at that age level would not understand, which I thought also helped them with interpretation. She exemplified guided practice. Stephanie would call out a word, and the students were responsible for finding a corresponding word that rhymed with it. So in word bingo, she, picked a card, read the word, and there was a sheet of paper that had both the picture and the word. And they had to figure out, okay, which picture sounds like what Miss Stephanie is reading. She used the alphabetic principle by using sounds and pictures of known information to understand words. She practiced interactive talk with students when reading the book and asking questions throughout. She used relatable experiences to grab the students' attention, tying in new materials that were introduced. I too believe that age and reading level were appropriate in Stephanie's. Like I said, as I stated before, the students weren't able to read, so she had pictures to go along with the words that she was calling out for word bingo. I really enjoyed Stephanie's level of enthusiasm from the beginning of the lesson to the end. It was exciting. It made me excited. It was, interactive. It was intriguing. I just think it was just an overall great lesson. I felt that it was also unique that instead of sitting elevated from the students, she sat on the same level as the students. I think that kind of made it a more relaxed atmosphere for both her as well as the students. She also used phonological awareness when the rhyming words were presented. She used the phonemic method as well when she identified, or she wanted to see if the students could identify the sounds that were the same in the word bingo. I would suggest that if you allow students the opportunity to come up with their own rhyming words and see if they could find additional songs that explain rhyme, because the children enjoyed the song so much. So I think that she would benefit from having the students come up with their own words or have them identify items in the room that rhyme with something that she mentions so they can recognize on their own, okay, this is a rhyming word. For professional development at both the classroom and school-wide level, Stephanie should continue to listen to students intently, assess knowledge as needed, and incorporate various strategies into learning concepts into the established curriculum. I also suggest that she rereads the book, the entire book, for fluency and comfortability with the students. So when she rereads the book, she can have them maybe raise their hand if they recognize two words that rhyme, or, she can call out one word and have the students call out the other. So, as they play the rhyming word game. In the category of pre-planned lesson, I would give Stephanie a distinguished level because it was clear from the beginning what the goal of the lesson was and descriptive steps as to how the goal goal would be met throughout the lesson. I overall thought that both lessons were very interesting. They were thorough, and I really enjoyed this assignment. Thank you so much.